Brad, how do you manage Adam Shield knowing he's probably going to shoulder a workload? Is it same in practices? Does he take a little bit off, or how do you do that?
Well, since last Thursday, since when Peter told me he went down with his injury, obviously we had to manage him, through that practice and then through the weekend with the games. But coming into this week here now, we'll have to manage, the reps that he gets in net. But now adding another goaltender here to get it back to 3 again, it's kind of the same format again as usual of sharing the net with 3 goaltenders. So that's a big deal for us because the workload in practice is tremendous with 2 goaltenders, and it gets overwhelming at sometimes. And with 3, it's probably the perfect amount of time for a goaltender in the net.
How important is it for Adam to have that role in Ticton last year when he played a ton of games down the stretch, kind of knowing what to expect?
Yeah, it's critical, when you, especially as a goaltender, it's a fact that, you want to, get it to a level where you're the guy and you're consistently in the net and getting on a run and feeling comfortable with playing your game. And, sometimes, as you grow up in youth hockey and you get to junior hockey, sometimes patience is the best thing to do, and that's what Adam did. He played the national program for a couple of years, platooning, playing games every second game, and then, getting to go to Penticton and be the guy and playing 60-plus games and going deep into the playoffs. That's very beneficial, that the experience you can't get back, and now that you have to rely on it, going forward here, with us.
What have you liked from what you've seen from Adam this season?
I think just his calmness, as far as he doesn't get too high or doesn't get too low. He's very composed and calm in the net. He has a lot of confidence with the puck, playing the puck. And, when we're up in games or down in games, there's not a variance of panic or nervousness. He just remains even keel and makes big saves at big times.
In talking to his goaltending coach back in December, he said that playing for the national development team really prepared him for this level, and the kid's not really afraid of anything.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of validity to that statement, in the fact that, when he was at the national program, you're 17 and 18 years old in consecutive years playing against guys in junior hockey, in a junior hockey schedule that are up to 20 years old. And then when you play a collegiate schedule where they sprinkle games in there, you're up to kids that are 23, men that are 23 and 24 years old. So, again, you become hardened and calloused in a lot of pressure situations. And then compound that with going to play junior hockey and playing a 60-game schedule plus playoffs as being the number 1 goalie there, that's invaluable experience.
How much have you got to see the new kid?
Yeah, we've watched him extensively. When we were planning on bringing Harrison Feeney in to replace Ryan Anderson at the end of the year, since his eligibility exhausted here at UND, and so he was a recruited player to come into our group here. So we had an extensive book with him, and we not only like the way he plays, but his character. In that position that Ryan Anderson's in, that he's going to fill, you have to be a special person to check a lot of the boxes, and he did. And again, we've had a previous knowledge of him as a person and as a player.
Looking at his numbers, they're pretty good. There might be a chance he might press the other goalies for some playing time.
Well, for sure, press, absolutely. When we recruit not only 3 goaltenders, but the 8 defensemen, the 15 forwards, they're all recruited here on, you work hard enough, you're going to get opportunity. It doesn't matter who you are and what level of scholarship you're on. And that was a message to him too, is, you're going to come in here and you're going to get opportunity if you work your tail off and you do all the right things to set that up. So, he knows that, and that's part of our culture here.
You said after the game on Saturday that there was a trend starting to happen with penalties taken and how much that changes the flow of a game. So how do you talk to the guys and express that, these penalties really do not work with what we're trying to accomplish?
Well, 100%. And, like I said, going back to the Saturday game in particular, in the first period, the first 15 minutes of the period, we had 9 chances. They had 0. They had 2 shots on net were from the perimeter. And then we took the first penalty, gave them momentum, gave them great looks. But I think the biggest thing when you take penalties, don't take the consecutive penalties, the second and the third one, because that's when you really give up momentum and the other team gets momentum in that type of game. So discipline is going to be key. We're not going to back off on how we play. We're a very hard team to play against, and we're very fast and physical, but we have to play discipline in the game as far as taking consecutive penalties.
In each of the games, a 2-goal lead was squandered. So what do you talk to the guys about finishing games and getting that 3 goal?
Well, again, yeah, that's the magic number, right? Trying to get to 3 as quick as you can, and then trying to maintain the pace and keeping the foot on the pedal. But you know, I think in situations where you're giving up that first goal, in a case where we give up a shorty on the first goal, it's what you do after that shift that you gave that goal up. And I felt that we didn't have. They came at us with 2 or 3 more shifts to press us a little bit. And I think anytime that you give up a goal that's going the other way, you got to make sure that those next 2 or 3 shifts are the ones that you have to get the momentum back.
I know a win's a win, and it's a tough league to play in, but after seeing your team eke out a couple of really tight victories, would it be nice to just see them kind of put their foot on somebody's throat?
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? We're in the NCHC. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're Omaha, if you're CC, if you're Denver, St. Cloud, Western Michigan, there's 8 teams that there's very little difference between top and bottom. And again, yeah, we like to put the foot on the throat, and we absolutely have that game plan coming in every weekend, but it is a tough league, and we got to make sure that we got to try to find ways to win, and we found a way to win 2 games this past weekend.
What are you expecting out of Omaha this weekend?
A very hungry team. You know, they went into Denver, they lost 1-0, and then they lost the game in overtime in the first minute on Saturday. So 2 one-goal games they've lost, and I watched the video. They played extremely well. They've got guys back in their lineup again. Their goaltender is playing lights out right now. So again, they've got a lot of really good things going for them. It's one of those things that we have to continue to play the way we have to play down in their building, where they play very well in, by the way, and making sure that, you know, we have that playoff mentality. Like, we're not off the hook by winning 2 games at all. We're in playoff mode right now, and our guys know that.
Is this maybe the closest you've seen in terms of parity in the league since you've taken?
Absolutely. You know, and you see like teams like Western Michigan grow over the last 3 or 4 years, and you know, it's not a mystery that they're where they're at. You know, obviously with their group, what they have right now. But you know, you're seeing Miami elevate a little bit. You know, CC, we just played that team. They're a lot better than the record shows as far as their team. Yeah, this is probably the most parity in our league that you'll ever see. You know, in the NCHC.
I know Dean's not there anymore, but
You sure?
yeah, who knows? But over the years, is it strange you see a Zombo and Archibald, a Belfour, and now a Morelli and a Ward there? Is that kind of strange to see those guys? Their kids, I'm sure you know a lot of their.
Well, it tells you one thing: he still has his fingerprints all over that program, right? You know, even though that he's not there and he hasn't been there for the last year or 2. You know, you have a Taylor Ward in there right now, and Morelli's still there. You know, he was part of the recruiting process on those guys, and you know, you always go back to relationships and the people that you previously had, even though it's a different generation. It's usually the same mentality and culture, and he was dead on when he recruited those players. Very good players.
After the last road trip didn't go exactly how you wanted to, is there more of an added focus and added importance to going on the road this weekend and taking care of business away from home?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think, you know, we went on the road last weekend, and we came away with 0 coming back home, and that didn't sit very well. You know, like I said, it's one of those things where there's urgency and desperation on our side here, knowing that, like I told before, it's a playoff mentality. There's no time to rest. It's a push right to the end right now, and our guys know that going on the road is even tougher, and it's going to be something where we have to make sure we get after right away on Friday night.